Welcome to GoldSilver.com Radio. My name is Lee Greenberg, and I will be your investor and guide. It is our purpose at GoldSilver.com Radio to keep our finger on the pulse. And today, my guest, we are honored to have our CEO and author of Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver, Mr. Michael Maloney. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, Lee. How are you doing?
Fabulous. It's so wonderful to have you here with us today. You know, a lot of people have talked about 2008 having the pricing spiking up and coming back down, and maybe there were similarities in 2011. Did what happened to the prices for silver and gold in 2008 compare to what happened in 2011, or were they different?
Well, there are some great similarities. We broke what is called the 200-day moving average. So the price has gone through a support level and broken it. And one thing that we are seeing is increased volume, which is good because we've got customers that are, we've got more sophisticated customers that are buying on the dips. They're taking advantage of the lower prices. I'm actually hoping that gold and silver go a bit lower. If you look at a long-term chart, though, if you look at 10 years of the price action, this is barely anything so far. We still have a very, very healthy bull market, and I think by the end of 2012, we're going to be we'll see silver above its old high, I think, of $50. And but when you consider that silver was $50 in 1980, and it's selling for, as we're speaking right now, it's selling for less than 30. It's a bargain and a half.
So you said we haven't seen anything so far. What does that mean?
Well, it's possible it could go lower, is all I'm saying. We haven't seen anything so far on the downside, and we haven't seen anything so far on the upside. I mean, well, like I said, silver was $50 in 1980, and it's still selling at a discount when they have printed about 10 times more dollars. Gold and silver are money. They're not just a commodity. And so they act differently when people rush back to them to protect their wealth against the confiscation of wealth that governments do through inflation. And so they act differently than other commodities. And I don't think we've seen anything yet when it comes to the fireworks that we're going to be seeing over the next few years. I think that we just left the first phase of the bull market in 2010, and we're in the second phase now, where people are hearing about it a lot more. People really ignored gold and silver for the first 7 or 8 years that they were rising. It wasn't in the news very much. When people did hear about it, they weren't interested. Suddenly, in 2009 and 10, people started to become interested, and people are quite interested now, but they're still fearful. They still think that if they jump into it now, it could be too late. Maybe they've missed the gains to be made, and so a lot of people are still fearful of getting into it. There will come a day where it'll be like the NASDAQ was back in 1999 first couple of weeks of 2000, where it's just going vertical, and everybody's absolutely sure that it's going to be the best investment of their lifetime. And that's when you want to sell, is when everybody is telling you to get into it, your neighbors and so on. So I think that we have a long way to go, and that we should be seeing brand new highs well before the end of 2012. And I'm looking forward to it.
You've talked about fear, and so one of the ways to resolve fear is to store in third-party armored insured vaults. And here at GoldSilver.com, we have offered alternatives or options in other countries. How do you feel about offshore storage?
Well, I like a little bit of offshore storage, the geographical diversity, because I think that there's the possibility of capital controls, where governments try to limit the amount of currency that you can take out of a country, and the amount of wealth that you can take out of a country. In the United States, I don't think that they would try to nationalize gold and silver once again. As you know, it was nationalized back in the 30s by Roosevelt and remained illegal for Americans to own for 50 years, which is pretty stupid. I mean, we're supposed to be a free country, and here this very benign metal that doesn't really react with anything, gold, and they treat us like we're little children, like we aren't smart enough or old enough to be able to own that gold and handle that. But anyway, gold is not connected with our currency anymore, so it's not part of the monetary system currently. And there isn't the same reasons to nationalize it, one, and two, we're the only country that is in a particular situation where the vast majority of our currency resides outside of our own borders. All other countries, the vast majority of their currency resides within their country. With the U.S. dollar, that's not the case. And if Obama were to try to nationalize gold once again, I think that banks and brokerage houses around the world would suddenly go, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with the U.S. dollar. I better get rid of my dollars and buy gold. And they would get the exact opposite reaction of what they would be seeking. And I think they have to know this. And so we're the only country on the planet that can't nationalize gold. So I believe that gold and silver within the United States is safe. It's just that if you want to travel or you want to go somewhere else, it's possible that countries may start limiting the wealth that you can take out of the country. And so I like the freedom of knowing that I've got some in other countries.
That's very interesting. You've talked about before hyperinflation, there's deflation. Some people think that we're in a deflationary market now prior to a hyperinflationary market. Are we seeing the deflation now, or is that yet to come?
Well, that's what I wrote in my book back in 2005, 6, and 7 when I was writing my book. I said we were on a roller coaster and that we'd experience the threat of deflation followed by a helicopter drop, which would create a little bit of inflation, and then we'd have true deflation, which is a contraction of the currency supply. And Ben Bernanke would overreact and to try and get us out of that deflation. And I think we are in the deflationary portion right now. If you take a look at the total amount of dollars out there, the currency supply is shrinking, and it hasn't done this before except during the onset of the Great Depression. That was the last time the currency supply contracted. And we're going through a rather significant contraction right now. It always takes a while for to feel it in the economy. When there's a change in the total money supply, there's a delay before you actually see the inflation or deflation affecting prices.
And my final question today is about authenticity of the metals themselves. People always are inquiring how to prove that the metals are real, or if they're real, or about counterfeiting, and we address that we have the top hallmark brands and things like that. How would you address authenticity of metals?
Well, if it's a known refiner, like Johnson Matthey is the world's largest, and if it's a known refiner like that, and they stamp right on the bar that it's 999 fine silver, and this is their product is relatively high grades of gold and silver, and if they made something that was less than 999 fine gold and silver. That would damage their company name. They're not going to do that. You don't see dealers that deal with these bars they handle them all the time. So they recognize the hallmarks. There's never been a counterfeit there's never been like a counterfeit Johnson Matthey bar that I know of. But I buy gold and silver eagles. This is a United States Mint product. And so if somebody were to counterfeit it, it's not just fraud, it's counterfeiting. So if somebody were to recreate a bar out of a different metal and sell it, that's committing fraud. But when you commit counterfeiting and you're replicating a U.S. Mint product like a silver or gold eagle, now you have not just the FBI after you, but you've got the Treasury and the Secret Service, and you're going to go to jail for a long time. And so it just isn't worth it. One of the things you do see a lot of counterfeiting of is collector coins. There's a lot of counterfeit, reproduction collector coins coming out of Asia. And so personally, I stay away from those things. I buy gold and silver eagles. That's my favorite product.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for your time. It's always insightful to speak with you.
Thank you, Lee.
I look forward to speaking with you again in the near future. And this is Lee Greenberg reminding you that if you can't hold it, you don't own it. Thank you for your time and have a great day.